When they single out snippets from Sulh al-Hudaybiyah and then manipulate them as if it's compromising on the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the question is, why don't we ever see them use what happened 4 years earlier when the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam waged war for transgression against a man and a woman? Or why don't we ever hear them use what happened after Sulh al-Hudaybiyah, a few years after, when the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam waged war and sent out an army to fight the mightiest superpower of the time because one of his messengers was killed. When going over Sirah with our Sheikh Safiuddin Mubarak Furi, the author of the Sealed Nectar, when we reached Ma'rakat Mu'tah, I remember very well, he had a very humble bedroom rented in an apartment, and it was shared by other construction workers. I remember the setting, and I remember the mattress we sat on. When he mentioned Ma'rakat Mu'tah, he began to weep and cry, and he said this was the bloodiest, deadliest battle the Muslims ever fought in the life of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he mentioned some of the Sahaba who died in that battle, all because Al-Harith ibn Umayr al-Azdi was killed radiallahu anhu. The Messenger used the truce of Sulh al-Hudaybiyah to strengthen Islam. The Zanadiqa of today use the treaties to weaken Islam in the hearts and on the ground. So the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam began to send out letters calling surrounding kings to Islam. And he sent one to Azim Busra, a leader of Al-Balqa, who was an agent appointed by the Byzantine Empire, apprehended Al-Harith ibn Umayr al-Azdi and killed him. The Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam waged war at the superpower of the time that was behind that little agent. Today they'll use Maslaha to indirectly criticize exactly what the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam did. The enemies are too strong, we're weak, we're outnumbered. So too was the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But he had yaqeen in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It was extremely difficult news when the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam heard that his messenger, Al-Harith ibn Umayr, was killed. He asked the Sahaba to assemble an army, and they hastened to it. فَاشْتَدَّ عَلَيْهِ وَنَدَبَ النَّاسِ فَأَسْرَعُوا. 3,000 muwahideen versus 200,000 soldiers of the biggest empire of the time, the Byzantine Empire, over one individual. To the surrenderers, that's suicidal. But why do they always use Sulh al-Hudaybiyah, manipulating its meaning? But we never ever hear them revive the legacy of Ghazwat Mu'tah. It's not 1 and 2 they killed. It's masses upon masses of innocent Muslimin that they killed. Occupied lands, Muslim captives. Do you see the double standards? And if they don't want to use the incidents of Izzah in the Sirah, like those, the ones that happened before Sulh al-Hudaybiyah and after, in various statuses of the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, both weak and strong times, leaving them no room for excuses, then they can't avoid what's inseparable from Sulh al-Hudaybiyah itself. Look at the Izzah, and after Izzah is Sulh al-Hudaybiyah. The story itself. The Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam took allegiance from the Sahaba to fight until death. It's mentioned in the Quran. لَقَدْ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ إِذْ يُبَايِعُونَكَ تَحْتَ الشَّجَرَةِ فَعَلِمَ مَا فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ فَأَنزَلَ السَّكِينَةَ عَلَيْهِمْ وَأَثَابَهُمْ فَتْحًا قَرِيبًا. In Sahih Muslim, he said, لَا يَدْخُلُ النَّارِ إِنْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ مِنْ أَصْحَابِ الشَّجَرَةِ أَحَدٍ. The people of the tree will never enter the fire, inshaAllah. Meaning the Sahaba who gave a pledge of allegiance in Sulh al-Hudaybiyah. What's established and what's authentic is that the Sahaba gave allegiance to the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam to fight until death. Yeah, that's in the sulh that they portray as a surrenderous one. What's popular in the books of Sirah, but not authentically proven, meaning it's not authentically proven by authentic narration, is that the reason behind it was the rumor behind Uthman radiallahu anh being killed. It's popular in the Sirah books, but it's not with an authentic narration, regardless of the reason. An incident depicted as a surrenderous one, or that's bargaining on the principles of the deen, has Sahaba who were ready to fight and sacrifice their lives, given a pledge on that. Do those who use the story to allege it's permissible to compromise on the principles of this deen even think like that? Or have ghira on the deen of Allah like that? Salama ibn al-Akwa, whose kunya is Abu Muslim, was asked, Ya Aba Muslim, على أي شيء كنتم تبايعون يومئذ؟ قال على الموت. Sahih Bukhari, he was asked, why did you give the pledge of allegiance on the day of Sulh al-Hudaybiyah? He said, we gave the pledge of allegiance for death. Someone given a commitment to die, and the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam accepted that pledge, and then you got a zindiq trying to destroy this deen, telling us the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam was there to compromise on the principles of that deen. In Sahih Muslim, Jabir said, لم نبايع رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم على الموت إنما بايعناه على أن لا نفر. We did not give the pledge of allegiance for death. We gave the pledge of allegiance not to flee from the battlefield. And similar to that, in Sahih Muslim, is a statement by Ma'qil ibn Yasar. There's other narrations as well. Ibn Hajar rahimahullah ta'ala said, the narrations are very similar in meaning. He said, given a pledge for death, or not to flee, or for patience, are very much the same. Because given a pledge of allegiance for death really means not to flee, even if they died, and it also doesn't necessarily mean that death must occur. He said it also doesn't contradict with the narration in Bukhari that they gave the pledge of allegiance for patience. He said because patience here means to be firm and not to flee, even if it may cause death. You see the izzah in all this? Did the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam scare the Sahaba by how powerful and strong the enemy was? Those who use this to compromise on the deen of Allah and sign treaties to sell out the deen of Allah or ibad Allah, do you ever hear them speak in this tone?